Hey, this is Freddy from Dungeons & Daddies, and if you're like me, buying anything turns into a nightmare research spiral. But listen, if you're trying to upgrade your phone, I'm about to save you from yourself. Because right now, you can get the new iPhone 16e with Apple Intelligence for when you switch at your nearest Boost Mobile store. That's a brand spanking new iPhone 16e for the incredible price of $49.99. Plus, you're getting all the latest Apple Intelligence features too, like Cleanup, which removes distractions from photos with just a tap. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store for full offer details. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later. Restrictions apply.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Hello, everyone. I just want to tell you about a podcast I think you'll enjoy. If you're like me, I'm always on the podcast apps looking for something else scary to add to my feed. And this one is called The Most Terrifying Places in America by the Travel Channel. On the podcast, they visit some of the creepiest locations across the United States. They go to a hotel in New England where guests wake up and they're covered in scratches. My personal favourite is the one where there's a church in the middle of the woods and the security guards have to stay there for the night, and it's really, really creepy. There's so many different places on there. Get yourself a nice coffee or tea, pop it on and enjoy. Listen to The Most Terrifying Places in America wherever you get your podcast.
Did you know Tide has been upgraded to provide an even better clean in cold water? Tide is specifically designed to fight any stain you throw at it, even in cold. Butter? Yep. Chocolate ice cream? Sure thing. Barbecue sauce? Tide's got you covered. You don't need to use warm water. Additionally, Tide Pods let you confidently fight tough stains with new ColdZyme technology. Just remember, if it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide.
Hello, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Toby.
And welcome to the Whispering Woods podcast. This episode is all about
7 Gables Road.
It is indeed. It's one long story today. But first of all, we have a couple of reviews to read.
Southeast London girl. Love it. Just stumbled across this podcast while browsing through the creepy podcast section and glad I found it. Very good storytelling. Keeps me hooked and wanting to listen to more while at work. Great job. Love it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And the second one is from Taylor Wes. Dave's Spooky Podcast. Absolutely love getting notifications that another podcast was posted. My 2-year-old son and I listen to you guys religiously. It actually helps him calm down. I ask him if he wants to listen to his spooky lady. Oh, he loves listening to you guys. Won't listen without him. Oh, that's so sweet. I love the spooky lady. Spooky lady and spooky boy. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/The Whispering Woods, where for £2.50 a month, you can listen completely ad-free to every episode. And for £4.50 a month, you can listen completely ad-free to this podcast and our other podcast, Obscurata. All the links to everything are in the podcast notes. Right, let's get straight into it. Are you ready for the story?
Yes, I am.
A rusted gate stands at the end of a dirt road in Dansville, New York. Behind it, the land is overgrown and still. Locals call it 7 Gables Road. For decades, it's been the subject of rumours, strange noises, vanishing hikers, and something people don't like to name out loud. Many who grew up in the area say there's something wrong with the place. They say a curse follows those who go past the gate. Some even call it the most haunted site in the region. 2 teenagers, breathless with excitement, approach the end of 7 Gables Road. Ahead, the trees knit together, forming a tunnel of darkness. The beam of their flashlight dances over a weathered "No Trespassing" sign and the padlocked gate. "Are you sure about this?" one whispers, but it's too late to turn back. They hoist themselves over the barrier together, arm in arm, careful not to be the last one over. The legend warns that the last person to cross the gate will die if a ghostly scream pierces the night. No sooner have they dropped onto the leaf-littered path beyond, a distant wail rises from the black woods. Panic setting in, the teens scramble back over the gate to the safety of their car, hearts pounding. They peel away down the dirt road, swearing never to return. They are the lucky ones. To understand the fear that grips 7 Gables Road, we must return to the legend's origin in the late 19th century, to the tale of the witch, said to have lived in an old house deep in these woods. In those days, as the story goes, a reclusive woman made her home 2 miles back from the main road, in a curious 7-gabled house that stood on a hill. She kept to herself, and rumours spread through town that she practiced witchcraft and dark arts in that creaking home. Neighbours would see strange lights in the trees and hear unearthly sounds carried on the wind. The isolated estate soon drew suspicion and fear. According to local law, one version of the legend holds that late one night a band of marauders, or perhaps vengeful townsfolk, came to the woman's property. Whether out of fear or cruelty, they decided to rid the community of this alleged witch. They trapped her inside her own house and set it ablaze, turning the 7-gabled home into an inferno of crackling timber and smoke. As flames devoured the walls and the fiery light splashed across the pines, the woman's screams faded into an uncanny silence. But before she perished in the flames, she's said to have uttered a terrible curse upon the land and anyone who trespassed there. What exactly did she proclaim? In the most enduring version of the tale, the dying witch cursed the gate at the entrance to her property. Last one over, first to die, goes the saying. If anyone crosses the fence line and hears the witch's scream, the last person to jump back over will die within 3 days. A final act of vengeance from beyond the grave. For years afterward, locals avoided the area, especially after dusk. The land beyond the gate was deemed uninhabitable by her dark spell. The stage was set for a haunting a burned witch's house, a curse on the land, and an old gate left behind. For a quarter of a century, the charred ruins of the seven-gabled house stood deep among the trees, slowly being reclaimed by nature. Some versions of the story claim that even in those early years, daredevils who ventured near the ruins at night heard blood-curdling screams through the forest. Hunters spoke of an eerie presence watching from the tree line, and teenagers looking for a thrill would sometimes return to town, ashen-faced, claiming they'd been chased off by a screaming apparition with wild eyes. The land of the Seven Gables was gaining a reputation, and it was about to grow even darker. After 25 years of whispered tales, a new family came to Seven Gables Road, looking to build a home on what they thought was simply abandoned property. By now it was the early 1900s. Perhaps the old stories had been forgotten or dismissed as superstition. The family, a husband, his wife, and depending on the version, either 2 or several young children, chose the clearing where the witch's house once stood to erect a grand new house, complete with multiple gables that some say matched the original 7. If the curse was real, this act must have surely provoked it, for what unfolded next was a nightmare that lives in infamy in Dansville lore. For a time, the family lived quietly in their big country house. Neighbours occasionally saw the father, a hard-working man, in town for supplies. Nothing seemed amiss. But as months passed, something changed in him. He became irritable, then paranoid. Some say the curse of the witch fell upon the man of the house, possessing his mind. Townsfolk would later speculate that he'd begun speaking to unseen figures in the woods, or that he complained of voices within the walls at night. The legend describes a slow descent into madness, as if the land itself poisoned his mind, one storyteller recounts. Then came one horrific night that would forever bind the House of Seven Gables to tragedy. In the dead of night, under a new moon's darkness, the man finally snapped. According to the most circulated version of the tale, he took up a rope and brutally hanged his wife and children, one by one, each from a different gable of the house's roof. Other tellings have him tying his family to their beds before setting the house on fire around them. What is agreed upon is that he murdered his family in cold blood, their terrified screams carrying through the night. By dawn, flames had engulfed the grand house. Neighbours saw the glow and smoke, but arrived too late. The homestead was a smouldering shell collapsing in on itself. Of the father, there was initially no sign. Some feared he'd fled into the woods, axe in hand, a killer on the loose. But then a search party made a grim discovery along the dirt road. The father's body hanging from a stout tree limb, a noose around his neck. He had chosen a tree at the property's edge, later ominously nicknamed the Hanging Tree. The curse had seemingly come full circle, claiming an entire family in one night of madness. No official record corroborates this macabre event. It lives on through oral history and frightful lore, not newspaper archives. But in the imagination of Dansville, the legend of the house with 7 gables was cemented. They say the property was never occupied again. After the tragedy, what remained of the second house gradually crumbled and was overtaken by weeds. Years later, even the foundation would be buried under brush and dirt. Seven Gables Road itself takes its name from that ill-fated house, and it's said the road was closed off not long after. By mid-century, the county had put up that metal gate at the road's end, barring vehicles from going further. The land beyond eventually became part of a protected game lands, but the gate also served to keep curiosity seekers out. Officially, it was for safety and property protection. Unofficially, locals winked and said it was to contain whatever haunts those woods. Long after the fire died out and the tragedy passed into legend, strange occurrences continued to plague Seven Gables Road. The witch's dying curse, it seems, never expired. Over the years, generations of the area youth have ventured past the gate in defiance, on dares for ghost hunting or just drawn by the story, and returning with harrowing tales. One common story screams in the night. Many trespassers report that after walking a short way down the overgrown trail, they hear an ear-splitting woman's scream from somewhere in the woods, blood-curdling and unnatural. Often it comes without warning, shattering the midnight silence. It's this scream that triggers the curse on the last person over the fence. Terrified youth have been known to shove and trample each other in panic to avoid being last over the gate. In one first-hand account, a group of friends who went in together heard such a wail and fled as a pack, later discovering an eerie anomaly in a photograph from that night. One friend's snapshot showed an unexplained shape, like wings beyond another's back in the flash, as if something inhuman was looming over him. Others have seen apparitions. A Dansville resident named Kathy Hershiser recounts a childhood memory from decades ago. Walking with her father through those woods by daylight, they stumbled upon an old stone cellar, likely the remains of the cursed house's basement, grown over with moss and vines. Standing in that clearing, Hershiser felt the air turn oppressive and cold, and an eerie feeling of just like you weren't alone crept over her. She and her father hurried away, sensing unseen eyes watching. Years later, Hershiser's own son would have an even more chilling experience. As a teenager, he joined friends in exploring beyond the Seven Gables gate one night. He returned home ashen and shaking, telling his mother, "Mum, I will never go back there again." What had frightened him so? "We were driving and we saw someone hanging from a tree," he told her. A woman's body dangling in mid-air, swaying in their headlights, perhaps an image of the witch. Hershiser's son and his friends fled in terror. A woman hanging from the tree, screams in the night, even car crashes. These are all things people claim to have encountered on Seven Gables Road. Vehicles themselves are not exempt from the curse. Over the years, many thrill seekers have driven down the first stretch of the road, only to have their headlights flicker or their engines stall in the vicinity of the old house. One young woman, Elena Kellenberger, visited with a friend's family in recent times when her friend's parents boldly drove past the gate, likely when it was briefly open or by footpath. The car's alarm suddenly blared to life on its own, lights flashing and horn blaring in the still night. The hysterical teens in the back seat interpreted it as a dire warning. "We thought this was the end. We were going to die," Kellenberger later admitted. They took the hint and turned the car around immediately. Mechanical malfunctions like this feed the law that the witch's spirit will do anything to scare people away, or, conversely, to trap them there. Even modern technology seems unreliable on 7 Gables Road. Visitors attempting to capture proof often find their devices acting up. Paranormal investigators have reported fully charged batteries draining in moments and electronics failing in the thick of the action. On one documented investigation, a reporter's audio recorder died and began playing back garbled, disembodied voices, something that had never occurred before. Cameras sometimes refused to focus or yield strange defects, mists, orbs, and dark silhouettes appearing in photos that were not visible to the naked eye. In one case, a series of photos taken in rapid succession showed a black shadow shape that grew larger in each frame, as if absorbing the light with each click. Some speculate these could be the so-called shadow people that numerous witnesses have described, pitch-black human-like figures flitting among the trees, absorbing all light that hits them. Then there is the stench of death that sometimes wafts through the pines. Visitors have sworn that at certain spots they suddenly smell burning wood, sulphur, or even the cloying stench of burning flesh, as if the 1870s house fire was happening all over again. This grotesque odour arrives on the wind without warning, and no campfire or logical source can be found. It dissipates just as quickly, often leaving the witnesses gagging and convinced they had been in the presence of something utterly evil. And always there is that feeling, reported by so many who have stopped beyond the gate, of being watched. Every time I go there, I feel observed the entire time, says Kat Ryan, a self-described medium who has explored the site multiple times. Visitors speak of a heavy pressure in the air, a prickle on the neck, as if unseen eyes behind the thick foliage are tracking their every move. Is it the witch guarding her cursed domain, or the spirits of her victims and the ill-fated family, restless and angry? Some have even felt a physical touch, an invisible hand on the shoulder or around the neck. One story tells of a young man who emerged from the trail with red marks on his throat, convinced something tried to strangle him in the dark. As the legend grew, locals came to take the warning seriously. Over time, an informal protocol even developed for those daring to test the curse. Never go alone, never go last, and never taunt whatever dwells there. It said that groups would approach the gate in a line, stepping over it simultaneously to ensure no single person was last, a practice born directly of the witch's curse. Few people from the nearby village would wander back there willingly, even in daylight. Those who do and dismiss the supernatural often find perfectly rational reasons to feel unsettled. The terrain itself can play tricks on the senses. On breezy nights, tree branches rubbing together can sound uncannily like distant screams. In the dim moonlight, a pale piece of birch bark or a mossy stump might resemble a ghostly figure. Investigators once noted a particular tree with a white human-shaped marking that could easily be mistaken for a woman in a flowing gown at a glance. Skeptics say optical illusions and natural noises explain many purported encounters, but even pragmatic locals acknowledge that too many strange things have happened on 7 Gables Road. There has to be evil lurking there, one long-time resident concluded. after hearing decades of stories. By the mid-20th century, Seven Gables Road's infamy was well entrenched, so much so that it became something of a teenage pilgrimage site. High schoolers from around the county would spin tales at sleepovers about the cursed road, then load into cars and drive out to test their courage. This did not escape the notice of local authorities. The land beyond the Red Gate, now largely state-owned forest, is off limits after dark, and sheriff's deputies grew tired of responding to trespass and vandalism reports. Stay away from Seven Gables became a common refrain of both parents and police. No trespassing signs were erected alongside the heavy gate to reinforce the message. Those warnings, of course, only made sneaking in more tempting for some. Over the years, law enforcement files accumulated odd and dramatic reports from trespassers who got more than they bargained for. In one frequently cited case, a group of teens who had hopped the fence later phoned police in a panic, claiming a screaming hag had chased them down the woods back to their car. They were so frightened that one boy admitted he ran face first into a tree in the dark, injuring himself, because he felt hot breath and heard a furious shriek right at his back. Officers who responded found the kid scratched up and hysterical, but predictably, no trace of any pursuing figure. Another account mentions a pair of college students retrieved by authorities after they became lost beyond the gate for several hours. They claimed the woods seemed to shift around them and that they kept doubling back to the same clearing, almost as if something was herding them in circles. One of them, trembling, told the deputy he felt she wouldn't let us leave. The officer chalked it up to inexperienced hikers in the dark, but the students swore they'd followed their compass the whole time. Perhaps the most frightening stories are those of near disasters on the approach to Seven Gables. In a haunting bit of folklore, some locals claim that anyone with ill intent or too much hubris who drives toward the site will meet with an accident on the way. The old county highway that leads out there, Williamston Road, has seen its share of collisions and wrecks. Devotees of the legend attribute this to the witch's long reach. An entry in a 2009 archive of hauntings chillingly asserts that every person that has attempted to go to Seven Gables either died by a car accident or almost died. No one knows why. Trust me, we know. It is as if the curse will stop your heart or stop your car before it ever lets you trespass on its grounds. While that claim is surely hyperbole, it underscores how deep the fear runs. Local police have known to stake out the entrance around Halloween, both to deter thrill seekers and perhaps to appease anxious residents who don't want any new tragedies linked to the old curse. The physical remnants of the Seven Gables house have almost completely vanished, which only adds to the mystery. For decades, people weren't even sure where the foundation stood. The forest had swallowed the evidence. Not long ago, a psychic medium and a film crew set out to find it, armed with metal detectors and historical plat maps. After trudging through dense brush by day, they finally uncovered a small portion of an old foundation, just a few inches of mossy stone wall poking above the soil. They cleared away debris and measured it at about 14 feet long, with the base of a staircase still detectable under the dirt. It was a humble footprint for such a legendary house, leading some to wonder if it was part of the original witch's cabin, rather than the larger second house. The medium claimed to sense the spirit of a woman near the site. In a dramatic moment, as they stood marvelling at the discovery, one crew member spotted something in the dirt by their feet. They reached down and pulled up a rusted iron rod, possibly a remnant of an old stair railing or fence post. To the medium, this was a validating sign from the spirit world, a piece of the past literally unearthed at the moment she communed with the ghost of 7 Gables. That tangible find aside, more efforts to pin down verifiable history have come up empty. No records of a family massacre or a witch burning exist in official archives, as paranormal researcher Gary Geert found when he dug through county history. We have no record of it anywhere, as far as the absolute history of it out here. There's just nothing, he admitted after exhaustive research. The story seems to live purely in the realm of folklore. But Gary, co-founder of a regional paranormal society, also attests that something very real is happening on that land. He himself spent nights investigating the property. On one quiet evening, sitting near the gate in the dark, Gary was taken aback when a clear voice whispered, "Hello," in his ear, though he was entirely alone. On another occasion, his powerful flashlight beam hit a human-shaped shadow on the trail, a solid black form that blocked the light as if corporeal, yet vanished moments later. Gary eventually concluded that whatever dwells around 7 Gables Road is dangerously dark. So much so that it drove him to retire from paranormal investigation altogether. Evil has one thing on its mind, and that is to kill us, he warned starkly after what he experienced.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
When you think of skyrocketing brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, it's easy to credit their success to great products, sleek branding, and brilliant marketing. But here's the overlooked secret. The real magic lies in the engine behind the scenes, the business powering their business. For millions of brands, that engine is Shopify, making selling seamless for them and shopping effortless for us. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Aloe Yoga uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/retail, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/retail to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/retail.
I love all this witchy curse stuff.
Yeah, because you are one.
Yeah, I just love it. I really do.
And I wouldn't say that as an insult, it's the truth.
I do. I'm a practicing witch in my own little way. But this kind of story is just amazing. And it should be a film. It should definitely be a horror film because I would be there in the front row watching it. Not your type of horror? Would you watch a horror film about it? I would.
Yeah.
If it was done well.
From like Halloween or something.
Right, okay. Are you sort of coming away from horror films at the moment?
Nah. Well, I don't really watch movies. When I go upon something that's scary, then I just watch it.
Okay. But you're not, because like years ago you used to watch loads of horror films, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're not really watching that much telly at the moment, are you? You're just going down the gym, pumping it up.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will indeed. I'll catch you again on Wednesday for the Reddit episode, and Toby will be back on Thursday for the extra. and then again on Sunday for The Haunted. And don't forget Obscurata on Tuesday and Thursday. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
When you think of skyrocketing brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, it's easy to credit their success to great products, sleek branding, and brilliant marketing. But here's the overlooked secret. The real magic lies in the engine behind the scenes, the business powering their business. For millions of brands, that engine is Shopify, making selling seamless for them and shopping effortless for us. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Aloe Yoga uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/retail, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/retail to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/retail.
Life insurers put life into the things you live for. The new factory that's hiring your neighbors. Maintenance on the bridge that keeps traffic flowing. The paycheck that puts pizza night on the table. Life insurers contribute $8 trillion to the U.S. economy through bond purchases and other investments, and protect the financial security of 90 million American families, like yours. See how life insurers put life into America at acli.com. Paid for by the American Council of Life Insurers.